husband, finally after about 3 or 4 months. And after the meeting, I said, oh, no, this isn't for me. I don't want to do this. I can't stand up in front of people and say anything. So, no, thanks. We're not going to go there. And I said, but I will support you fully because I know you're very involved in this. And then I went to my first conference with him, and that's where I got hooked because I realized what a supportive environment it was. The quality of people is just phenomenal. You open up such a network of connections and all of the different Fortune 500 companies that have Toastmaster clubs. You know, there are Toastmasters in NASA, Florida Hospital, Disney, Forbes, Wells Fargo, and Coca-Cola. And Coca-Cola actually requires their new employees to join the club and get involved.
Oh.
So, and then
really
after that, I finally did my first couple of speeches, and I realized how much of a change it would make in me because before Toastmasters, there was no way I would walk into a networking meeting. There was no way I would get in front of people and talk or anything like that. So it has really made a huge dramatic change in my life, taking me from the accounting world, which was my career before, moving into public relations, and now being able to be involved with the Chamber of Commerce.
Wow. I mean, that's a phenomenal story because I know when I first started with our company, that was where I should have been, but I was so afraid to go to Toastmasters because I knew I'd have to speak publicly. So I did a disservice to myself.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that typically keeps people from going and visiting a meeting is the fear, and because they don't know what to expect. But Toastmaster meetings are very, very welcoming. You work at your own pace where you're comfortable, and you are always there being supported by everyone. So everybody know that everybody, probably 90% of the club started where you are. Not everybody walks into a Toastmaster meeting being a public speaker.
Otherwise,
you're going to knock everybody's fears down now.
Well, actually, though, when you said that, we always say that Toastmasters is for those who fear public speaking and for those who love public speaking. Because first of all, you can always refine your skills and learn something new, just like you said, continuing education. But the other part of it is being a mentor to someone and helping them. So if you're comfortable with public speaking, then you can really help someone else.
Oh, I like that idea. Really serving and giving back.
Right.
Which then comes back to you.
Exactly.
Well. I like that. And that's how I know how you are. Most definitely. Well, I mean, everyone has such a busy, hectic lifestyle these days. How does one fit one more thing into their schedule as far as making the time to go to the meetings? Are they every week, every other week, every month? And I know you've got other big events that go on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So fortunately, like I said earlier, Toastmasters schedules are very flexible. So you can go online to toastmastersd84.org. Right up at the top, there's find a club. You can put in your zip code, and there are clubs that meet in the morning. They meet at lunchtime. They meet in the evenings, all days of the week. There's some clubs that meet on Saturdays, some that meet on Sundays. So there's something out there for as far as time for everyone. But then again, depending on what your goals are, it's all about the commitment. You know, you're committed to your work, you're committed to going to church, you're committed to going to school and furthering your education. So it depends on what your commitment to yourself is. And so you're going to find the time to make that commitment. And the nice thing about Toastmasters, too, once you get involved and you realize what a great organization it is, you look forward to going to the meeting because a lot of times that's the high point of your week. And at every meeting, you're going to laugh. Sometimes you're going to cry. Sometimes you're going to see someone get lifted up and improve. And so it's always very rewarding, and it's a very, very positive experience. So most times you're going to really look forward to going to your meeting.
No, it does sound interesting. It does sound like it's a fun group with a lot of camaraderie between the members. And
definitely,
and
and the Toastmaster family, too, just like what I saw with Hurricane Matthew coming through, which affected a lot of our district. And as the hurricane came toward the coast, and it came here at Melbourne area first. And I started seeing all of our Toastmaster people on Facebook and everything, checking in with everybody, making sure that everybody was okay. As it followed up the coast, you could see everybody checking with and opening up their homes if somebody needed a place with air conditioning and a shower or food or anything. So everybody's very, very supportive and helpful outside of Toastmasters as well. So I always say that friends are the family you choose, and Toastmasters is the family that I chose, because it is just like a big family.
Wow, what an endorsement on that. I mean, and again, we always hear that, you are like the top 6 people you kind of hang with. When you hang with influencers like that, and they're such giving people, and everyone's there to help each other. Right. It's definitely a great place to be in.
And everybody's in the club atmosphere. Everybody's on the same playing field. So you could be in a club with a CEO of a company and a stay-at-home mom that wants to come for social benefit, and the CEO is trying to further his presentation skills and get more refined. But everybody's there for a common goal of improvement and self-improvement. And so with all of the encouragement and everything, so all of the titles and everything are left at the door when you come into the club. And so it's a very encouraging and warm atmosphere.
Wow. How long has Toastmasters been around?
71 years, I believe, at this point. Yeah, it was
unbelievable.
Yes, and it started in the basement of a YMCA by Ralph Smedley, and has grown from there. 94 years.
94 years.
That's right. We just celebrated our 90th not too long ago. And one of the taglines that they used for that was breaking the ice since 1924, I believe. And the icebreaker is your first speech in a Toastmaster meeting. So I thought that was very cool. So they've been breaking the ice for 90 years, 94.
Awesome. Well, do a lot of the groups, do they segment them women only, men only? Do they have combination? Or what do you find that a lot of newbies that are coming into groups are more comfortable with? I know we have a women's only, I think it's Girl Talk here in our Brevard, Melbourne, Florida area that I have visited. So I didn't know if you found that people tend to want to join groups of their only, sex or multi-sex, whatever. It's just what they're comfortable with. Or
there are several different clubs that some are for, like you said, just for women. Some are lifestyle clubs. Some are like the gay lesbian. There's the Chamber of Commerce in Orlando, and they started a group. It's the Gay Lesbian Chamber of Commerce in Orlando, and they started a Toastmaster club there. So for all walks of life, men, women, everything.
All
so
genders.
And
you said a lot of the organizations, even Coca-Cola.
Corporate clubs, right?
Corporate clubs. I know a number of organizations that have opened up their facilities for Toastmasters to come in as well and have meetings. So
absolutely.
Great to know that the business community is supportive of Toastmasters and realizes the importance of having it grow in the community.
So when you're putting this whole big picture together, what do you look for really a dynamic member to your group that's going to actually, lend some energy and some focus?
Actually, you never prejudge anyone, because someone could come in that is very high energy, but they just don't have they still have that fear of public speaking, and they don't want to get up in front of people and talk, and they might fill different roles in the meeting, and they might be energetic that way, but they really don't want to get up and talk in front of a meeting, where you might have somebody else comes in and they don't really want to fill the roles in the meeting, but they want to be the ones up there speaking so that they can improve themselves. So everybody has a different energy level coming in, and I found that even those that come in hesitantly, really, once they get in and they get involved, they see how much it benefits them, and that's the motivation to keep going.
Yeah. You're green and growing, or ripe and rotting.
Yeah, unfortunately,
exactly.
there is no other.
There is no standing still. You can't stand still, and it's not that I can't stand still, but the people around me are not going to stand still.
Exactly. So you have to keep moving.
You've got to keep moving. You got to keep learning. You got to keep stretching. And I love that idea of what your the message behind what you're doing with Toastmasters is to keep everybody green and growing.
Yes, absolutely. And just continual learning. And the other thing too with Toastmasters is how much it helps. You were saying how the communities, and organizations and things are backing Toastmasters and really using. Well, the other area that it's helping tremendously, and just in our own district right now, is in prison clubs. Orlando Rescue Mission has a Toastmaster club that has transitioned people that have been there for several years out into jobs because they could nail the interview. And then with youth in schools also.
Yes.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm thinking of how many, I see a lot of different individuals in job groups on Facebook and LinkedIn, et cetera, and they're looking for that ideal job. So they could actually be out improving their skills while they're looking. So when they do get to that next interview, when they have that opportunity, they could rock it. They could really.
Well, the other benefit too for someone looking for a job is the connections that you make, and with all of the corporate clubs. So if you have an interest for working at NASA or Disney or Florida Hospital or any, an organization, all you have to do is call up their club, even if it's a closed club. You can ask to visit the club and come in, bring your resume, and you might make a good connection at the club.
Oh, well, with all those great benefits, it sounds kind of expensive. So
that's the other best kept secret.
So what would it cost for me to join? Because it's time I think I get into Toastmasters.
It's actually very, very reasonable. It's probably the least expensive organization with all of the benefits that you get. So the dues are $45 every 6 months. So that's $90 a year.
Oh my gosh.
And you have a one-time, if you're a new Toastmaster member, a one-time $20 fee, and that gets you all of your materials that you need to get started. And then each club sets their own club dues so that they can purchase materials and supplies and things like that for the club. So they range from about $5 to $10 a month. So you might be talking $100 a year to be involved and it's a worldwide network also. Remember that it's an international organization, and it's in over 146 countries, close to 500,000 members, and that opens up the world to you, because I've met people that I would have never had the chance to meet in my normal walks of life, because going to the international convention, there are people from all over the world there.
Oh, what an opportunity.
And even when you travel, you have your own personal concierge. You just call a Toastmaster club.
and you get the real scoop on where to eat,
where the locals
visit.
eat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I love that idea, because again, it's a huge. So I'm hearing the main benefit, not only to enhance your communication skills, but also the networking and the opportunities and making connections that you would not have had an opportunity to meet otherwise. And of course, with social media now, if you meet them at a conference or convention, whether it's international, national or local, you can continue that conversation with them and build the relationship deeper right on social media as well.
Absolutely. And just like you mentioned with social media too, we know that social media is a great place to network, and face-to-face networking is also good. But when you combine the two, so if you have effective face-to-face networking and then you have effective social media networking and you combine those, then you create an exponential improvement in your connections and your networking with and that's why Toastmasters is good for business owners as well, because there's so many skills that business owners can use and improve, plus the networking opportunities.
Well, how have you felt? I mean, you've shared so much about Toastmasters, and we've known you now probably a little over a year, maybe, when we first met you in another organization over in the Orlando area. What have you found has been the most, what I don't want to say biggest benefit, but the one thing that you really saw the improvement on you the fastest when you joined Toastmasters? Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And for me, because I never really had aspirations to be a public speaker or trainer or anything like that. And like I said, my whole background was in the accounting field. And for 22 years, I was in private and public accounting. And, the personality that most accountants have is very